Angry Birds 2, a game made by Rovio Entertainment in July of 2015, which features new birds, 20 game modes which are technically all the same, and 20 trillion hat sets. This game is supposed to be the sequel to Angry Birds Classic, which some may say is the GOAT. But unlike the first game, this one is it's not the GOAT. Formerly known as Angry Birds Big Adventure, the original idea for this game was time travel. Guess what other game did that? After the release, Angry Birds 2 became one of Rovio's biggest live games, so they would obviously milk it for more by adding so many hat sets and something called Tower of Unfortune. If I get a pig on the second floor, I'm gonna crash out. Speaking of getting milked, do you remember Angry Birds Space? Angry Birds Space was released in March of 2012 in collaboration between Rovio and NASA. And their goal was to educate people about space, and they also made multiple videos talking about different things in space, like the Angry Birds Rocket Science Show, where NASA scientists would give you information about planets in our solar system, or stuff like the Curiosity Mars landing, or just trivial knowledge about physics and space. They even got astronauts to play Angry Birds on the International Space Station. With this red plush, that is. I don't know if they played the actual game there or not.
Nope, he's coming back. He's coming, Duck! Get down! Duck!
Beside the educational stuff, they also made some amazing animations and comic books, which also features a new bird called Icebird. Icebird is a cube-shaped bird that originally appeared in the Angry Birds Space trailer. With his ability, he freezes his surroundings, which kind of makes things easier for the blues. But he wasn't the only unique bird here. The other birds also got their own space designs, like Red, who became Super Red. Bomb became Space Bomb, Chuck became Laser Bird, the Blues became Lightning Birds, Terrence became the Incredible Terrence, and Bubbles became Cosmic Bubbles. But the only bird who got a massive ability rework was Chuck, so he would become more viable in space levels with the new gravity mechanics. Matilda, Hal, and Stella did not get a space version in Angry Birds Space, but instead in the Angry Birds Reloaded remake, with Matilda becoming Iron Bird, Hal becoming Halgorithm, and Stella becomes Scarlet Wing. And just like Chuck, they also got their own unique abilities to become more useful in space levels. And the thing that set Angry Birds Space apart from the other classic games was the unique levels and mechanics. As you already know, there is no gravity in space, so the birds would just travel in a straight line without having an arc movement. But there were mini planets with gravitational fields that would bring the birds closer to their center or make them loop around in their fields. Angry Birds Space was unfortunately removed alongside the other classic games in around 2019. And the only place where you can kind of experience the same stuff is Angry Birds Reloaded, which is exclusive to Apple Arcade. But that was until October 15th, 2025, where we got an animation on the official Angry Birds YouTube channel titled The Abduction of Angry Birds. Then we got another announcement about a new Angry Birds 2 update with a flock forward on October 18th, and around October 16th we got a live stream titled Something Pig is Coming. Now by this time, everyone was suspecting a space update for Angry Birds 2, and around 10 hours into the live stream, we got this supposed leaked image, which turned out to be a troll. But we did get a space update in Angry Birds 2, and now it's time to answer the question. Is Angry Birds 2 Space worth playing? Now I'm not gonna talk about if Angry Birds 2 is worth playing, I'm just gonna talk about this space season. Starting with the good stuff, the levels and gameplay mechanics. Well, the space levels are really fun to play, and the visuals look really good. Just like the OG game, the birds will travel in a straight line if they are not in a gravitational field, and they also start looping around the planet when they are in those fields. The pigs also freeze and get popped if they are thrown out of these fields, but in some stages, the structures are outside of these fields. But the pigs are not freezing, which is kind of weird because they don't even have bubbles around them like in the original. And then we have the hat set. Now, the hat designs for some birds like Stella, Matilda and Bomb are pretty much the exact same as their original design. And the red, the blues and bubbles have kind of an upgraded design like Marvel Rivals characters. But Chuck and Terrence, well, what is this? Why does Terrence look like this and why is Chuck half purple? And this is also where the problem is, because for the longest time, the only way of getting these hats has only been through the Tower of Torture. So you're gonna get captured and captured and captured for fuck's sakes. And the removal of the daily missions really shows itself here. Because I don't have any gems and I am getting captured on floor 2 every single time. So if you really want these hats, you gotta buy a lot of gems, and when you do, make sure to use my creator code in the game so at least you don't give all your money to Rovio. Now the space levels from the calendar are pretty easy to go through, but in the arena there are also these spinning lasers that can just annihilate your birds, and the level designs in some of these stages are just not good. They are kind of forcing you to buy the extended aim thing from the season pass. Use code DigiKnighty if you're buying it. Not to mention, they did not add any space abilities here, so using Matilda, Chuck and Hal is very tricky here. And we also didn't get Icebird in this event, which is kind of sad because Icebird would have given the blues an indirect buff to make them more useful. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty good update compared to the previous ones. Even though a lot of stuff is missing, I'd say yes, the space event is worth playing. Anyways, use code DigiKnighty, join our clan in Angry Birds 2 and have a great day.